All right, so get this right. I'm at my favorite restaurant, like in the mood for a celebration, ready to order some champagne. I'm already checking out the menu and everything.
Oh, I know that feeling.
And the waiter tells me, get this. Sorry, we're all out of champagne flutes tonight. Champagne
Oh,
flutes.
no, you're kidding.
Talk about a letdown. But it got me thinking about all those delicate glasses, the plates, all of it. How does it even get to our tables? Like, who's making sure those champagne flutes arrive safe and sound?
Right.
That's what we're diving into today. The surprisingly intricate world of China and glassware distribution managers.
Yeah, it's a field most people don't even think about. But especially now, with online shopping and global supply chains, it's more important than ever.
For sure, and I bet it's not as easy as it sounds. I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking about fragile stuff here. One wrong move and crash.
Exactly, it's high stakes, for
Yeah.
sure. Luckily, we've got this RoleCatcher guide to walk us through it. It really breaks down how demanding this career path can be, but also how rewarding.
Okay, so first things first. Let's say someone's interested in this whole China and glassware distribution manager gig. What are they actually doing day to day?
Well, it's definitely not just picking out pretty patterns and hoping for the best.
Right.
It takes a certain kind of person, someone who's got a head for numbers, but also isn't afraid of a challenge. This RoleCatcher guide uses the phrase analytical thinking. But basically, you're juggling a lot of moving parts. Imagine, like, forecasting how many teacups a whole country might need months in advance,
Wow.
and then making sure those teacups actually arrive on time and in one piece.
So it's like a delicate balancing act, kind of?
Exactly. You're dealing with suppliers, transportation, customers who need their stuff. It's a fast-paced environment. But the guide also mentions the salary potential.
Oh, yeah. What are we talking?
Let's just say the earning potential is definitely there, especially as you gain more experience. But you're right, it's not all about the money. There's something exciting about knowing you're the one keeping this whole delicate world spinning.
So let's say someone's listening and they're like, okay, this sounds like me. I'm organized. I like a good puzzle. What are the skills that would really set them up for success? The RoleCatcher guide mentions things like critical thinking and active listening. What do those actually look like in action?
Okay, imagine this. A huge shipment of hand-painted mugs is stuck in Italy because of bad weather. A China and glassware distribution manager, they're the ones who have to think on their feet.
Oh, no.
Do they find a new supplier? Do they figure out a faster shipping route? And they've got to keep everyone in the loop, the suppliers, the customers, while staying calm, cool, and collected.
So it's like being a diplomat, but for dishes?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You're managing those relationships, building trust, and making sure those delicate deliveries actually happen.
Sounds like you need the patience of a saint
Yeah,
and a love for logistics.
exactly. If you thrive in a fast-paced environment and you're a stickler for details, this could be the perfect career for you. But it's not just about being organized. There's more to it than that.
Speaking of thriving, this RoleCatcher guide actually maps out a whole career path for aspiring China and glassware distribution managers.
Yeah, it's not something you just like fall into overnight. It's a process.
Right. It's not like, oh, I woke up one morning and decided to manage a warehouse full of teacups.
Exactly. There are steps along the way.
Yeah.
Like the guide mentions this entry-level assistant role. That's where you'd start.
Okay, so entry level. What's someone actually doing in that role?
Think of it as learning the ropes, but for fragile cargo. You're assisting with those deliveries, making sure the trucks are going to the right places, that kind of thing.
And I'm guessing there's a whole art to handling this stuff, right?
Absolutely. We're not talking about chucking boxes around here. You're learning how to pack and unpack these delicate items, how to use those packing peanuts like a pro, all while making sure everything's accounted for. It's detail-oriented work.
Makes sense. You gotta walk before you can run, right? Or, in this case, pack a teacup before you can manage a warehouse full of them. So you've mastered the packing peanuts. What's next?
Well, then you might move up to junior coordinator, where things get even more interesting. Okay, picture this. It's the holiday season. Everyone wants that trendy new teapot they saw online.
I feel like I've been there.
Right. So as junior coordinator, you're making sure there's enough stock to meet that demand, but you don't want a warehouse full of extra teapots come January.
Yeah, that's a balancing act for sure. No wonder this guide talks about negotiation and sales skills.
It's essential.
Yeah.
At this level, you're not just thinking about logistics anymore. You're looking at the sales data, trying to anticipate what's going to be hot, working with the sales team to make it all happen.
And then from there, what's the next rung on the ladder?
So after you've proven yourself as a coordinator, you might move into more of a supervisory role.
Okay.
And that means you're not just managing your own work, but you're also guiding a team, mentoring those junior folks, really sharing your expertise.
So those leadership skills this guide mentioned, those come into play big time.
For sure. It's a whole other skill set, but it can be really rewarding seeing your team grow and succeed. And then, if you excel in that supervisory role,
Well, you're on your way to the corner office, or in this case, like the top of the teacup tower.
exactly, that's where you reach the peak China and Glassware distribution manager.
Big leagues. What does that actually look like day to day?
Well, at that point, you're not just coordinating, you're strategizing. You've got that big picture view of the whole operation, making sure those delicate supply lines are running smoothly. And let's face it, in logistics, there are always going to be hiccups along the way.
Oh, I bet.
A delayed shipment, a sudden surge in demand. That's where your problem-solving skills really shine. You're the one who stays calm, figures out a solution, and makes sure everyone stays informed. But here's the thing, and I think this is important. This job isn't just about plates and teacups. There's a bigger picture here.
Oh, now you've got me curious. Tell me more. All right, you've got to tell me more about this bigger picture thing. It's not just about dishes, right? There's got to be more to it.
Way more. We're talking like economic indicators
Okay.
and global trends, all hidden in plain sight.
Whoa, whoa, slow down. Economic indicators. Like,
Yeah.
how does a teacup become an economic indicator?
Barry, think about it. When people feel good about the economy, they're more likely to splurge a bit, right? Maybe they'll finally buy that fancy china set they've been eyeing, or those crystal champagne flutes.
Ah, I see what you mean. So more champagne flutes being sold? Good sign for the economy.
Exactly. And it's not just individuals. Imagine you're a hotel owner, and suddenly tourism is booming. You're going to need more of everything, glasses, plates, the whole shebang.
So those dinner plates become a tiny reflection of what's happening in the bigger picture. That's fascinating.
It is. And it gets even more interesting when you factor in global trade. That teacup on your table, it could have traveled thousands of miles to get there. Think about the materials, the manufacturing, the shipping.
Oh, yeah, of course. And all those different countries involved have their own economic ups and downs too, right?
Exactly. A China and Glassware distribution manager needs to understand those global connections, the trade agreements, even the political climate. They're like economic diplomats in a way.
Wow, this is blowing my mind. So it's not just about the logistics, it's about understanding the whole intricate web of the global economy.
It is. And we can't forget about sustainability. We're shipping fragile items all over the world, so a good distribution manager is always thinking about how to minimize waste, maybe finding eco-friendly packaging options, optimizing those shipping routes.
It's like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. Except in this case, it's more like, with great teacups comes great responsibility. Who knew there was so much to this world?
Right, it's a field that's constantly evolving, especially now with technology changing everything. Imagine AI predicting exactly how many teacups a country will need, or robots carefully packing those teacups for shipping.
Robot packers. Now that's something I hadn't even thought of. That's wild.
It is wild. And it makes you think, how will these jobs adapt? What skills will be needed in the future? It's exciting and a little bit unknown.
It is. So if you're out there listening to this and you're intrigued by all this, the logistics, the global impact, the future of the field, maybe a career as a china and glassware distribution manager is right up your alley. It's a lot more than just dishes, that's for sure.
It is.
This was a fascinating deep dive. Thanks for joining us today.